Sports Talker Nation? Welcome back. Once again, it's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 team-by-team NFL preview. Today, we're going to talk about those New York Giants. Now, truth be told, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but for some reason, the Giants never bothered me as much as the Cowboys bothered me. I'm not a fan by any stretch of the imagination, and I certainly don't want them to do well, but I've respected their organization, the way they've done things over the years. That said, I think last year was kind of the end of an era, and I think it needed to be the end of an era. They had a lot of struggles. They lost so many games that I thought they should have won, and I think a lot of that was coaching. Coughlin, I think, was a good coach for a long time, but I think he showed that he just didn't have it in him last year. He made mistakes that he hadn't previously made. To have that kind of record and that kind of performance with that kind of offense was disappointing. So what they did was they moved the offensive coordinator up, figuring they were going to lose him if they didn't make him the head coach. It was time to push Coughlin out anyway. What that does for the rest of the team, let's see. So offensively, not only do I think they're going to be dynamic, I think they're going to be electric. They have a ton of receiving talent. Eli Manning really took to the new offensive system. Not only do they get the ball out quickly, but they have enough speed, and Eli has enough arm to get the ball deep. The offensive line does a very good job in pass protection. They've invested a lot of high draft picks over the years in offensive linemen. I think that's helped them. It hasn't really helped their running game. I think a lot of that may have to do with the actual running backs. Andre Williams, Rashad Jennings are kind of just guys. Shane Vereen's more of a pass catcher than anything. But from a receiving perspective, I mean, how can you go wrong with Shane Vereen, Odell Beckham, Victor Cruz supposedly coming back from that injury, and a new young kid in Sterling Shepard who people should really be aware of. I think if they start him on the outside, he has a chance to be an absolute beast right from the beginning, especially with Beckham commanding the double team. I think they're going to be a huge, huge difference maker. Defensively is where they really struggled last year, and they addressed it. A lot of credit goes out to the Giants. They spent a ton of money. They got a couple of defensive backs, Janoris Jenkins, and drafted Eli Apple very early to shore up a place where they knew they were the weakest. Their defensive backfield was absolutely atrocious last year. Their pass rush was lacking. They did sign Olivier Vernon, which I think can help him. They did re-sign JPP. Jury's still out if that blown-up hand can ever help him get the pressure that he used to get. But I think they did the right things. But again, as an Eagles fan, I've seen what it sometimes, when you go and spend a boatload in free agency, there's a little bit of a transition time to get used to playing with each other and for that team to gel. So I think they're going to go through that. I think they're going to be an improved team. I think the defense will get better. You'll show glimpses from the Eli Apples and Janoris Jenkins of the world of how good they can be. But I think overall this year, I'm counting on a fairly uneven 8-8. I think the division is weak. So I think they do have a chance to get to 9-7 and make the playoffs. But my guess is 8-8 outside the playoffs yet again, and then they gear up for another run next year. So with your 2016 team-by-team preview of the New York Giants, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.